How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another exciting match of Movie Battleground. I am the host with the most, Richard Schwartz, and we have another fantastic match today because this is a very special match because this is indeed a retirement match between Ryan Permison and Malcolm Goldie. Almost said Michael. It's Malcolm. So their careers are on the line today, but I am not alone. I got two other judges with me who are eager to judge and watch this match unfold. So let's go talk to them real quick. Starting off with Jay. Jay, how are you doing? How are you feeling about this oncoming retirement match?
Oh man, days where you have to watch somebody retire are never fun. Both of these competitors are great talkers. I just want to see who can bring the best fight. I don't know the questions. I'm going in blind, so I don't have a bias. I don't have a dog in this race. It will come down to the arguments. Fellas, best of luck to the both of you, and I'm ready to do this, Rick.
All right. Those are good words from Jay. And our other judge today is Kirk. Kirk, how are you doing, and what do you expect from this match today?
I'm doing all right, but I'm kind of bummed out. When I agreed to judge this, I didn't realize it was a retirement match. I kind of hate that because that means my decisions are going to have to lead to somebody retiring. I like both these guys. Ryan and Malcolm are both good guys. Wish we had somebody in here like Caleb Coho or somebody. It's a lot easier to root against. But I rooted for both these guys. I like both these guys. So I don't want to see either you go. So I'll be calling it right down the middle. So bring your A game, fellas. Bring your best fights.
All right, those are fantastic words from you, Kirk. And let's get to the competitors to see how they are feeling. Starting off with Malcolm, who I apparently like to call him Michael. Malcolm, how are you doing today? How are you feeling about this match? And do you think you're ready for this?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Like the question, it's really fun questions we've been given. And this is one that I know my record in Battleground has not been that great. A lot of the times, a lot of the people I've faced have gone on to have championship matches. So Ryan, you'll get a championship match in the thing if you beat me. So, but I'm just here to have fun. I just love talking about movies.
All right. Those are strong words from Malcolm. And let's go to Ryan. Ryan, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling about this match?
First of all, thanks for having me, I guess. I mean, I wish it was under better circumstances with this being a retirement match, but you know what? Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter. To me, these are just a couple of competitors and judges hanging out, talking movies, whatever it may be, and we're going to have some fun with this. Malcolm, I have no problems with you. You're one of the few quote-unquote good guys that I know of in these leagues, so I thank you for that, and plus your show ranking is cool. But, man, this ought to be something. I think the third question is really out of left field. We'll talk more about that later, but, man, it's going to be interesting no matter what, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to do my best. I have my notes in front of me. I prepared for these arguments, so I'm going to put my best foot forward. Hopefully it'll turn out for the best. If it does, great. If not, there's plenty of other leagues and competitions to go around for everybody. So everyone here tonight, let's just put a positive spin on this. Everyone tonight is a winner. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Both competitors being super nice. They feel ready. So we're going to start to it. Before we start, let's give you the rules. There will be 3 questions. It'll be first to 3 points. If neither of the competitors after the 3 questions don't get the 3 points, we will go to the speed round questions until we get someone best to 3. And each questions will have 3 parts to it. Each competitor will have 90 seconds for their opening statement. They will have 5 minutes total to battle it out, and then they will have 60 seconds each for their closing statements. And then after each round, I will go to the judges, and they will reward who they thought which competitor had the stronger argument. So with that being said, Malcolm, are you ready?
Yep.
Ryan, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Let's do it.
Jay, do you have the timer ready? Cool. Kirk, are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right. Let's go to question number 1. Question number 1 is best career turn from singing to acting. And we will start with Malcolm. Malcolm, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement, and it will start whenever you start talking.
Well, I mean, for me, I went for Lady Gaga for my option. Like she literally came off in a very short while after her first year at acting. While she got nominated for an Oscar, she has had a lot of success when it's come to her acting outside of singing. I mean, well, yes, like her role in A Star Is Born was pretty much her being herself ish, but it's one of those ones like it's still perfect casting, and I mean it's one of those ones that work for the movie, and you do for that kind of movie you do need someone who can sing, so that shouldn't be a negative for why she's there. But I mean, like even outside, she's had a lot of success in the TV world with her acting. With her role in American Horror Story has got her awards nomination. So she's had success on both mediums of the. I know there's a movie Battleground, but it's both mediums. She's had the success in. So.
Do you concede the rest of your time?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts whenever you start talking.
All right. So for this question, there was a couple of different options. I think this is a fascinating question, but the answer I went with, particularly for this one, is someone who started out once, kind of like the question said, in music, transitions into film. This person had a vision and he attacked it pretty much head on from the get-go, not just with his singing career, but also transitioning to his acting career. And he said he was going to go ahead and try to be the absolute best the world has ever seen, or at least try to get up to a certain level of that point. And the person I'm talking about is Will Smith. Will Smith is the one I'm talking about. He did pretty much everything in a way with his singing career transition to his acting career, but there is more to go into that. But I will give those more information about that during the part of the debate. I will concede the rest of my time.
All right. It's going to be Will Smith versus Lady Gaga. Now, both of you guys, competitors, will have 5 minutes to battle it out, and that will start whenever one person starts talking.
Look, Will Smith may have started off good with his acting, but if you look in the past 10 years, like his roles haven't been that great. Like you've got After Earth, you've got Aladdin, which some people arguably say is pretty good. Like I do like it, but if you like most of his movies in the past 10 years after Men in Black 3 have all been considered rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. So I mean, he's may have had a good start, but it's kind of tapering off. There, Lady Gaga's like when she came out of the gate for acting, like she's been on a rise, and like she hasn't really had any stumbles in her career so far.
Well, here's the thing about that. Lady Gaga, with her success, whether it be on her appearances on television, her quick cameo appearance in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, and her transition into A Star Is Born, that's great, but that's one movie under her belt. That's not like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 movies like Will Smith has. Plus, with Will Smith starting with music, transitioning to acting, I mean, look at what he did. One of the first films he did was in 93, was 6 Degrees of Separation, playing a gay hustler. That is not like, some actors don't go for that kind of a role when they want to first start out, but he went in it 100%, gave it 100%, and then right after that, it went into Bad Boys, which may have made a lot of money. Maybe it wasn't critically received well, but then a little film called Independence Day came out in 1996. Blew everyone away with records, blew everyone away with the fans and the critics and all that kind of jazz. That made him a certified box office draw. And from there, it just skyrocketed. He did everything. He did Men in Black 2. He did Enemy of the State. His chemistry between him and Tommy Lee Jones and Men in Black alone was praised by not just the audiences, but a large selection of critics. Now, has Will Smith had some blunders here and there? Yeah, sure. Every actor, every person who's ever transitioned into Hollywood has, but that doesn't mean he can't get back up and get back to that top tier of stardom that he once was all those years ago. He's got 2 films coming out this year alone that are going to appeal to different audiences. He's got Gemini Man, which is from Ang Lee, and then he's got Spies in Disguise, which is an animated film that's going to cater to the younger audiences, and with Gemini Man can appeal to adult audiences. So Will Smith could potentially be on his way to a comeback this year alone.
I mean, that being said, like his acting in Independence Day, like Well, yeah, some people, there's a lot of people which say he's the best actor, and there's some people who say he's the worst actor in Independence Day. There is that mix of things. Like a lot of his roles, you'll find that a lot of people have actually said that his acting isn't that great. But I mean, with Lady Gaga's like, even she's only had sort of one big movie that's has propelled her acting up there, but like in that since that movie, like just be everyone has been praising her role, like and has been saying that it's been really good, and that and they're considering her that her acting is probably going to take skyrocket off. Like she may not have anything coming up, but when she does, it's there's probably going to be a lot of people that's going to compare it to her first role. Like, with Will Smith, like he's had so many blunders. Like he's I mean, it may be a 50-50 split. I didn't actually count. But it's like um, it's he's batting 50, and Lady Gaga at the moment is pretty much on a higher percentage of good versus bad. So.
Well, with Lady Gaga, with that one film, that's one movie. That's her
1 minute.
15 minutes of fame so far, and I'm sure she's gonna do bigger and better things as she goes on. But let's not forget, Will Smith started with 6 Degrees of Separation. He got The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He proved he can not only do drama, he can do comedy, he can do biopics. He was Muhammad Ali, for Pete's sake. Got nominated for an Oscar. He got a Golden Globe nomination out of it. And then years later, he did another serious drama called Concussion, where his performance was praised once again by critics, which shows that he wasn't just the Fresh Prince. He's not just a comedic sitcom actor. He's a very serious, versatile actor who can cover multiple genres in different kinds of films, and also can appeal to not just the younger audience, but an older audience. I mean, this guy's already in his mid-50s, and he's got 2 films alone coming out this year that could potentially be the start of the Will Smith renaissance, if you know, like the McConaissance was for McConaughey at one point. So Will Smith has a lot more irons in the fire right now than Lady Gaga has. Lady Gaga's only been around for 15 minutes. Will Smith has been doing it for what? Almost 30 years? Guy's a beast.
All right. What a fight. Now, Malcolm, you will have 60 seconds for your closing statements, and it will start when you start talking.
Well, I mean, yes, Will Smith has shown he's got versatile, but Lady Gaga has also got a bit of versatility. Well, yes, like she's got her musical side and salesman, then she's also shown she can do horror from her role in American Horror Story, which also got her various nominations for the TV side of things. So, I mean, Lady Gaga has shown in both mediums that she's got two different sides, and I dare say she'll probably show us more sides as she goes on. But I think her career into acting she's shown that she can and will go on the upswing and get more versatility under her belt as she goes on. And I think the way she started off her acting career has been hot off the gate. Will Smith probably never really got into sort of well known for his movie side of things since Bad Boys was probably his first sort of well known one that got there. Like a lot of people have probably have not even heard of 6 Degrees Separation before, but the first thing they remember Will Smith in is Bad Boys.
Okay, I guess you can see the rest of your time. And Ryan, you have 60 seconds for your closing, and it starts whenever you start talking.
With Will Smith and the things that he did, transitioning from his singing career into his acting career, is incredible. Lady Gaga has been around for 15 minutes. Will Smith has been doing it for nearly 30 years. Without Will Smith, some of the other artists would not have given acting a chance. Lady Gaga may not have given acting a chance if she wasn't in some way, shape, or form inspired by what Will Smith had done up to that point. So you can't forget where to a certain degree it started in the 1990s for that particular generation. It was Will Smith going from singing to acting, and for the most part, he's nailed it. He's had good films and bad films, yes, but that's the life of every actor. Every actor has positives and negatives on their resume. But Will Smith was in a way, he was the trailblazer. He started it all. He's done Men in Black. He's done the Bad Boys franchise. He is known for more films than Lady Gaga. Her hype train is going to phase out sooner rather than later, whereas Will Smith, people are going to be talking about that guy tomorrow and for a very, very long time, whereas for Lady Gaga, she's only been around for 15 minutes, so it's too soon to tell whether she's going to be one of the legends or not.
All right, that was a fun first round. Both competitors came on swinging, but now it's time for the judges to decide who will get the first point, and I will start off with Jay. Jay, who do you think got the point this round?
Personally, I'll give you a real quick breakdown. I liked what Malcolm had said about Will Smith having a lot of stinkers in his filmography, but Ryan perfectly countered that with that is the life of an actor. Not every single movie you make is going to be gold. The one movie versus the 35 or 40 movies that somebody has been in, it's really kind of difficult. I liked that Ryan pointed that out as well. The only thing I can say about what Ryan has said is he wasn't the first person to do it. Frank Sinatra did it 40 years before Will Smith was even around. Don't be that guy, but Ryan gets my point.
All right. So far, one deciding for Ryan. Let's go to Kirk. Kirk, who do you think got your point?
This was a good match from both guys, or a good fight from both guys. They really came out swinging, and they both had a lot of good stuff to say. Both coming from very different angles. You know, the Ryan taking the grizzled veteran, and Malcolm taking the hot young rookie. And you know, Malcolm hit him pretty good about Smith's his track record of the past 10 years hasn't been that good, and about his acting's not so great. And Ryan had a lot, had a long list of he had a much bigger filmography to work with here. But I would say Malcolm had me because talking about the lukewarm response to Smith's acting. But Ryan was able to come back and talk about movies like Ali and Concussion, where he did get some buzz for his actual performance in. And, like Jay said at the end here, they came back and said, that's every actor. You got your ups, your downs. You can say that with even the all-time greats have that, there's blemishes on the record. So I'm going with Ryan as well.
All right, so that will be 1 point for Ryan. Ryan is now in the lead, 1-0, but it's still early. So we're going to go to question 2, which is, what is the worst comic book film? And we will start this time with Ryan, since Malcolm went first last round. So Ryan, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts when you start talking.
Okay, this question has multiple answers. There's so many different options to choose from, but the one I'm going to go with, plain and simple, little thing in 1997. It's a little film called Batman and Robin. That is by far and away the worst comic film ever made for multiple reasons, and it almost destroyed a legendary character's film future of a franchise and almost tarnished a character cinematically anyway for years to come. I have more points that I will make, but I'll make those during the rest of the debate round, so I will concede the rest of my time.
All right. Ryan chose Batman and Robin. He kept it short and sweet. So Malcolm, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts when you start talking.
Well, the movie that I picked is by far and away the worst comic book movie. It's Fantastic Four 2015, also known as Fantastic. This is a complete mess of a movie. There's literally no redeemable factors in this. It's like the acting, like there's some great actors in it, but even some of them, the acting is not that great. And that's mainly because of the script. They try to do too much in this movie. They try and do stuff which doesn't quite make sense. It takes them about most of the movie to actually, even before you even see them use any kind of powers. But yeah, Fantastic Four 2015 is the worst comic book movie by far. There's no competition. That's just one tip.
All right. So we got Batman and Robin versus 2015's Fantastic Four. And now we're going to be, these two will be battling out for 5 minutes. And that timer will start when the first person starts talking.
Look, Batman and Robin is a fun movie to watch. Like, well, yes, it's not that great, but it brings in some of the campiness that some people really enjoy in the Adam West iterations. Some of the campy humor works a lot. Um, there's nothing redeemable in Fantastic Four 2015. It's a complete mess. It's a complete train wreck. Some of the actors really look like they really don't want to be there. They look like they've been forced into this movie.
Well, here's the thing about that. Fantastic Four was already in a rut because all the films that came before the one that you're particularly referring to, which is 2015's Fan Four Stick, it was already in the crapper. So there really wasn't much to do with Fan Four Stick except go even worse into the toilet bowl. Let me give you a little history lesson. First film, 1989's Burton's Batman, was hailed as one of the best films of that summer. It's hailed as one of the best Batman films ever made. Second one, Batman Returns. People still enjoyed it, even though it was a little weird, but they still enjoyed it. The film resonated with critics and audiences despite some of the mixed messages. And then Batman Forever, they changed the tone. They were like, kind of, what's going on? What is this? But then Batman and Robin came out and they're like, what on earth are they thinking? Are they trying to make us go back to the 1960s? No, we don't want to do that. We want to move forward. We want to evolve the character. We want to move it in a different direction. But no, they had to return to the crappy campiness of the 60s and have Clooney trying to, who knows what he was doing in that movie. You had bat nipples, bat asses, horrible looking suits. You had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was horribly miscast as one of Batman's most iconic villains in Mr. Freeze. His story was just dumb, stupid, tapered. It was nothing but a joke when it was meant to be taken seriously with that character. Poison Ivy, she was the only probably decent thing about the film because she knew what film she was in. Everyone else was like, yeah, let's try to be superheroes and run around with capes and badasses and bat nipples, whatever. Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl outfit alone is one of the worst looking comic book movie outfits I've ever seen in my life. It is just atrocious for women. It's atrocious for the character. It ruined Batman for the longest time. We didn't get another Batman movie for nearly a decade because of this one film alone. Fan Four Stick was already in the crapper. Batman at least was still was surviving to a certain extent, where Batman and Robin just tanked it until a little film called Batman Begins came out and resurrected the franchise.
Yes, but even then, we still got another Batman movie. As of today, we still have not got another Fantastic Four movie. And the thing is, the two previous iterations of Fantastic Four, they were better, even though they weren't that great and movies, they were still better than what we got. This one was part of the reason that Marvel decided, like, we got to get Fantastic Four back. And this is Fantastic Four is like, you can't say that the Batman and Robin is not better than Fan Force, is not worse than Fan Four Stick. There's nothing redeemable about that. Like, it doesn't matter what came before and what it was. We're talking about the movies we put up here. Fan Four Stick is the worst movie between them. Like, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, Fan Four Stick has the lower of Rotten Tomatoes score, and Batman and Robin is still considered better for Rotten Tomatoes. Like, as I said, with Batman and Robin, the fun campiness, well, yes, some people didn't like it, some people enjoyed it. I enjoyed the campiness, and I do, and I think Arnie as Mr. Freeze was great casting. I think it was perfect, and they could have done it, like, if the script was there, they could have done it better. I mean, there's a lot of fun and redeemable factors in Batman and Robin. I challenge you to try and find something redeemable about Fan Four Stick.
When you look at ratings, but when you're talking about Rotten Tomatoes, Fan Four Stick and Batman and Robin are pretty much on par with almost the same. I mean, they're only like a 1 or 2 point difference as far as I know from Rotten Tomatoes. It's just god awful. And as far as awards go, look how many awards this thing was nominated for: worst film, worst supporting actress, worst actors, worst supporting actor, worst director, worst screenwriter, worst everything. I mean, it is just so monumentally bad. It got nominated for several awards long before Fan Four Stick ever came along. Now, granted, Fantastic Four, you say those first two films from 2005, 2007, they were fine? Nah, not really. But Batman and Robin, that character has been highly regarded for so many years cinematically, long before the first Fantastic Four film ever came along, including yours in 2015. People loved it in 89, people liked it in 92, and then all of a sudden it just went down completely the toilet, nearly destroyed the character's cinematic future.
All right. What a battle so far. And before we go on to their closing, I need to remind you too that out of the 3 rounds, you have a 1-minute extension where you guys can add it to the opening or your closing if you want it, if you need it. So with that being said, Ryan, you have 60 seconds for your closing, and it starts when you start talking.
Worst comic book movie ever made. It has to be specifically 1997's Batman and Robin, nominated for almost a dozen Razzies. Horrible writing, horrible directing, horrible acting. There's nothing redeemable about it. You say the film's good with the camera? No. Maybe the film's good when you're drunk, okay? That's how bad this movie is. You got to be high as a kite. You got to be wasted to enjoy anything remotely about this film, and you can't because it's just so awfully bad. It nearly tarnished the Batman character for so long until the next film came along from a different director and a different vision for that character. This film was so bad. It's one of the nightmares that comic book movie fans have in the middle of the night, because it's like our lives were almost destroyed by this one movie. That's how bad it was. That's how many nightmares people get. That is why Batman and Robin is the worst comic movie ever made, because of the acting, because of the writing, because of the producing, because of how many awards it was nominated for Razzie-wise. There's nothing redeemable about it. It's hot, twisted garbage that should be thrown away for life.
All right. Malcolm, you have 60 seconds for your closing, and it starts when you start talking.
I mean, Ryan was talking about Batman and Robin being nominated for lots of Razzies. So was Fantastic Four. Fantastic Fantastic was nominated for a lot of Razzies as well. I mean, if you're going to compare awards, then both of them were nominated for Razzies. And if you enjoy the campiness of Adam West, you're going to enjoy Batman and Robin for that campiness. There's nothing redeemable about Fantastic at all. Like, it's just horrible from the get-go, and it's one that you thought you were going to get a good movie when you saw the trailers for Fantastic. You knew what you're going to get when you saw the Batman and Robin trailers. Like, okay, this is what we're getting, and people still went to see it. So, you can try and say is like that.
All right, this was a fight, and we're going to go to the judges, and we're going to start off with Kirk this time. Kirk, who do you think got the point in this round?
I think we all lose for having to think about both of these movies for so long. But yeah, they both brought some great points. Batman and Robin, terrible movie. Fantastic, terrible movie. The way I'm leaning on this, though, is Ryan really attacked Batman and Robin. He couldn't find, at least he didn't bring up any little nuggets or gems out of Fantastic. Where on the other hand, Malcolm, he did his best. Not only did he tear apart his movie, they both had, like I said, they both had good points, but Malcolm had some things to say positive about his movie. And Ryan, I completely agree with you. His movie's garbage, zero redeemable. But Malcolm's great. I do know people who like this movie, who enjoy it for what it is. I don't know anybody who likes Fantastic. And Malcolm threw out the challenge. He said, find something redeemable about Fantastic to Ryan. And Ryan really didn't, answer the call there. So I'm going with Malcolm.
All right. And that is going to go to me. And I agree with Kirk. I am also going with Malcolm because they both attacked their own film. But I really didn't hear any reasons from Ryan's side why Fantastic Four was the better film than Batman and Robin, why Batman and Robin was the worst film, whereas at least Malcolm brought up the fact that at least Batman and Robin was campy and it was fun. And that's why my point is also going to go to Malcolm. So Malcolm will get the point. We are now tied 1-1. We are going to question 3. And question 3 is, as follows. What movie weapon do you choose to bring if you were to raid Area 51? And we're going to start off with Malcolm. Malcolm, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts when you start talking.
Well, I mean, if I was going to raid Area 51, I'd bring in something that's going to get do a lot of damage, and it's one that will bring the thunder, so to speak. And I'm talking about Stormbreaker, Force X from Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame, because this is one that you can bring in, like you can summon thunder. Like it's not specified in the movies. They have to be worthy to use it. So it's fair game. Like. And if you can use it as either a melee one and to use it sort of close range, you can also throw it and it will come back to you, and you can use it as a throwing weapon as well. So there's multiple ways you can use it. There's definitely so many different ways to do things with it, and you can cause a lot of damage with it. So that's why I chose Stormbreaker.
All right. You can see the rest of your time, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Cool. So, Ryan, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement whenever you start talking.
I don't know what's going on the internet. I don't know where this argument came from. I don't know how it started. I check Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram almost every day, and I don't know how this happened. I don't know what's going on. But either way, if I'm going to pick something to raid an area that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist unless you believe what they say on the X-Files, there's something you need to carry with you that's not going to be as heavy, because even if you're the worthy one and you're carrying Stormbreaker, that's a heavy thing to carry, and there's no carrying case that's ever been made for that weapon that we know of. So you got to go with something that's quick, fast, and mobile. I went with using the Force, and that's going to be a lightsaber from Star Wars, pal, because that thing is so easy to carry. You can put it on your belt, you can put it in a bag, you put it in your pocket, as long as you make sure the button doesn't accidentally go off and cut your, something down there off. But a lightsaber is the best thing to use because it can slice and dice its way through anything and anyone that may come into your way, whatever the obstacle is. The lightsaber from Star Wars is something that will get you through the darkest days, the longest miles, the long journeys, and all the other expressions I don't have time to go over because we don't have that kind of time. I can see the rest of my time. Let's just get this over with.
All right, we got a Stormbreaker versus a lightsaber. You two have 5 minutes to battle out, and it starts whenever you guys start talking.
You see, the problem with a lightsaber is you need to be somewhat skilled in sword combat to use it. And like as you said in the opening, like there is the risk of accidentally turning it on and cutting your willy off, and you can if you're not and if you're not skilled in combat, there's multiple limbs you can accidentally cut off.
Multiple limbs, yes, but here's the thing about that. If the new Star Wars films have taught us anything, it's that the Force is a mysterious thing, and being one with a lightsaber, you don't have to be a swordsman or an expert in combat with a lightsaber to be able to wield one and be able to use it properly to slice and dice your way through zombies or anything else that may come your way out of Area 51, whether it's a mystical artifact like the Ark of the Covenant or something else from the X-Files, because there was like 5 billion episodes and I've only seen the first 5 seasons. But point is, lightsaber, easy, quick, fast, mobile. Carry it with you anywhere. Put it anywhere you want, even if you're half skilled or not, whatever. Lightsaber will get you through those obstacles in Area 51. Where Stormbreaker, I mean, that thing weighs like what, 1 billion pounds, whereas a lightsaber weighs like, I don't know, 4 pounds. I don't know. It's going to be more lightweight than Stormbreaker is, and you have to be worthy to hold Stormbreaker anyway. So what if the person's not worthy? What if they're not worthy? They are SOL, out of luck, dead in the water, not going to make it through the night. The lightsaber will carry you through no matter what, because you don't have to be the strongest person in the world to lift it or be worthy like Thor was in Endgame. That's just my point.
Yes, but they never actually stated in the movies that you have to be worthy to wield Stormbreaker. They've always said it for Mjolnir, but they've never actually said it in the movies for Stormbreaker. So whether or not that is the case, it's it's one of those ones, like as I said, you can use it multiple ways. Like you can throw it and get a lot out there. It's like with lightsabers, you're limited to melee combat. Well, and if you don't have the force, then if you throw it, then there's a chance that it's not going to work. Like the curves on Stormbreaker are round enough that you can throw it and it can easily swing round and come back. Well, it still has the limb cutting off risk and the rate. It's just one of those ones that there's many different ways you can use it. Whereas with the lightsaber, you're only really limited to slicing and dicing. Like,
Well, not only defending yourself against whatever creatures or challenges may come your way, but you squeeze it through a door, it'll blow the doors open. If you need to get through a door that's locked, just poke it through the little key in the little keyhole, and it'll destroy it. You'll be able to get through the next door and get to a safe room and protect yourself. And also, if these creatures or whatever challenges may come your way in Area 51, they start blasting at you. They start throwing things at you. The lightsaber can be used to defend yourself, to shield you from those laser blasts or gun blasts, what have you, because the lightsaber can do a lot more than just, I can slice this guy's arm off. No. It can do a lot more because, as we've learned throughout the movies and other franchises, there's more to a lightsaber than meets the eye, my friend. Stormbreaker is just going to slow you down, especially if you're trying to hog that thing and not have a backpack or a clip to put it on if you're trying to run away from something.
Once again, that comes down to you need to be sort of somewhat skilled with combat. You don't need to have the force to wield it. I never once said that, but you have to be somewhat skilled in either like staff combat or any kind of combat with that thing to be able to quickly and have quick reflexes. Because I mean, if you don't have quick reflexes, then if you try to block bullet blast, then there's a chance you will still not be able to block it fast enough. I mean, well, yes, that is a major flaw of mine. It's the fact there is no way to do that deflecting, but it's still one of those ones, like the size of the axe itself, you can probably use it to block off, and it's one of those ones that's big enough that even if you miss off by a little bit when you come to try to block gun in that, it's the axe head is big enough that that's got more of a area that the bullets can hit.
Well, here's the thing with that with Stormbreaker. What am I trying to say? All right. Stormbreaker, the power that thing wields, it could overwhelm its user and potentially kill him itself. Whereas a lightsaber, all you gotta do is flick it on and off. Stormbreaker doesn't really have an on and off switch because that thing can be so overwhelmingly powerful, it can end up killing its user, or its possessor, I should say. And then you'd be really SOL. With a lightsaber, you just gotta flick it on and off. And Stormbreaker is more hazardous to your health than a lightsaber will be, at least in my opinion. That's where I stand on that whole thing.
Okay, time is up. Wow, what a battle for that 5 minutes. But now we're going to go down to their closing statements. And Malcolm, you will have 60 seconds for your closing statement, and it starts when you start talking.
Yeah, so if I was going to storm Area 51, Stormbreaker would be the perfect weapon to take in because, like, lightsaber has limitations, and like if you're not skilled at if you don't have quick reflexes or even skilled in sword fighting, then you're pretty much screwed if you're trying to deflect bullets. Like with Stormbreaker, you've got the head, which is relatively bigger area, so you don't have to. If you're using it to block, you don't have to hold it too far to the side to block. But yeah, and with Stormbreaker, you can use it as many different ways. You can throw it, and all that, and you don't have to worry about throwing it and it being ended up somewhere and you're not going to be able to find it. With lightsabers, it's so small that if
Ryan, you have 90 seconds for your closing, and it starts when you start. 60 seconds for your closing, and it starts when you start talking.
Okay, so you're gonna storm Area 51, huh? You're gonna get all those mystical artifacts or whatever it is that may be behind closed doors. Maybe it's $1 billion. Maybe it's a couple of billions in gold. Who knows? But if you're gonna use something to get you through the day and the night and the next month, you have a heck of a lot more control if you have a lightsaber by your side. Where a Stormbreaker, if the possessor of that weapon isn't careful, it can end up hurting, seriously injuring their arm, burning their arms off. Heck, Stormbreaker could turn on its master, do a little flingy dingy, come back, cut your head or your entire body and your limbs right off. Whereas a lightsaber, you have more control over it. How? Because all you gotta do is just press a button that's on the hilt of the lightsaber itself, and you'll be just fine. You don't need to necessarily have a swordsman or a background in kind of fighting. A lightsaber will definitely take you through any challenges. If you have to get through doors, if you have to get through locks, if you have to get through aliens or secret agents or people dressed in black suits with white shirts and Ray-Bans from a previous movie series that shall not be named, you can cut through them. You'll be just fine.
Whew. And wow, what a battle between the two. They were both throwing punches left and right, and it's now time for the judge's decision. And I will start this off. See, this was really tough for me because both competitors thoroughly trashed the others. Ones gave reasons why theirs would be the best to storm Area 51. So think I'm giving the slight edge to Ryan because of the fact that he mentioned that, yeah, it is very portable and handleable, whereas Stormbreaker is probably very heavy and will be kind of hard to carry it around with you. So my point is slightly going to Ryan. And so we are going to go to Jay. Jay, who do you think got the point?
I really enjoyed Malcolm's take on Stormbreaker. The fact that you could use it to deflect bullets was a really nice touch. If he had said, yeah, you can use your lightsaber to, disintegrate a bullet, there's still going to be slag from that metal. I wish he would have said that. It would have been a knock against the lightsaber. But the fact that Stormbreaker has more versatility is why I'm going to go with Malcolm. He gave me more reasons as to why it was a more versatile weapon, not just up close and personal, but you can throw it. Although I don't know why he kind of said it was a boomerang of sorts at one point. It was a really awkward thing to say, but I respect your arguments. The both of you, I would have gone with the Ring of Power personally, but Malcolm gets my point.
All right, so it's so far 1 for Ryan, 1 for Malcolm, and Kirk is the tiebreaker. Kirk, who gets the point and the overall point for round 3?
This is a really good fight, and Malcolm came out strong, talking about the versatility and everything, and talking about how the lightsaber requires skill. Ryan was real focused at the beginning on the weight and the size of Stormbreaker, and Malcolm came on early talking about how, hey, it's easy to hurt yourself, and Ryan countered with, yeah, you can do that with Stormbreaker too. I liked at the end where Ryan started talking about the on-off switch, just walking up on a guy and hitting a button on and off. That would be an interesting way to use lightsaber. But ultimately, I think Malcolm just painted a better visual picture of using Stormbreaker, describing the head using as a shield, different things, different ways you can use the, like Jay said, the versatility of it. So I think I'm giving a very slight edge to Stormbreaker. Well fought, guys. You don't have to be worthy to hold Stormbreaker. That was a specific enchantment that Odin put on Mjolnir. No, you're a nerd. So yeah, I'm giving my point to Malcolm.
All right, with that being said, Malcolm has taken the point. Malcolm now is in the lead with 2, with Ryan's 1. However, since no one got to 3 points, we are going to the speed round, at least the first speed round question. So for Ryan, this is a must-win situation. If not, Malcolm will win the game for the speed round. So what's going to happen is I'm going to say the question twice to give you guys a better understanding of what the question is. And after when I say the question for a second time, the competitor with whoever wants to answer first will say their name and then give their answer. You have 5 seconds to say your answer. And then once you do, the other competitor will say their answer. Does everyone understand that? Is everyone good with that? Okay.
Yep.
So, and then for the first speed round question is best Sylvester Stallone film. Best Sylvester Stallone film.
Malcolm.
Malcolm, what is your choice?
Rocky.
Rocky.
Hmm.
Ryan.
Hmm. Go with Creed. Creed.
Creed.
The first one. Yeah.
The first one. All right. So we got
Yep.
Malcolm with Rocky and Ryan with Creed. Malcolm, since you said your answer first, you will have 30 seconds for your opening remarks, and it starts when you start talking.
Rocky is easily the better Sylvester Stallone movie because you've got Sylvester Stallone sort of being the underdog and showing his boxing prowess in the movie. The story itself is pretty solid, and it's one that is people look to when they look for a nice underdog story to watch, and it's got a lot of great performances, not just from Sylvester Stallone, but all the other ones in there.
All right. Ryan, you have 30 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts when you start talking.
The best Sylvester Stallone movie in this case is Creed because this was a franchise that Sylvester was completely done with, didn't want anything to do with it until Ryan Coogler brought him back as the character of Rocky Balboa to pass the torch on to Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan. He got nominated for Best Supporting Actor Oscar. He was more vulnerable in this film than he has ever been in his entire acting career with the other parts that he has played, especially with the Rocky character, which is why Creed is the best Sylvester Stallone movie. Period. He showed more layers to his character, and he was more vulnerable as the character of Rocky Balboa than he's ever been before.
All right. So now, Malcolm, you will have 15 seconds for your rebuttal, and it starts when you start talking.
The problem with Creed is Sylvester Stallone is overshadowed by Michael B. Jordan. It's one of those ones in which his role in Creed is not that big that a lot of people, it's not usually the first one that people think of when they think of a Sylvester Stallone.
Time. Ryan, you have 15 seconds for your rebuttal, and it starts when you start talking.
He is not overshadowed in Creed because he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor Oscar. That is a big thing in his favor, and he showed more layers. It was more vulnerable. He almost nearly died in this movie. None of the other Rocky movies he was going to die because they knew he was going to come back for the sequel. This one we were unsure because of his medical condition, because of the battles he had to fight through.
Time. All right. Now it's time for the judges to decide who gets the point, and we're going to start off with Jay. Jay, who gets your point?
I hate judging speed rounds. I love participating in them. I hate judging them. So Malcolm said that Sylvester Stallone got overshadowed in Creed, and I thought it was a pretty decent counter to that Ryan said, you know, he got nominated for an Oscar, but he really kind of got stuck on like the Oscar thing and a layer of, you know, trying to describe the layers in which Sylvester Stallone was a better actor in this movie. That doesn't make it the best Sylvester Stallone movie, in my opinion. There was a little bit more of what makes Rocky, not Creed, but Rocky, a better film from Malcolm, at least in my opinion. So Malcolm would get my point.
Okay, so far it is one for Malcolm, and Kirk, we're going to go to you. Who is getting your point?
Yeah, this is tough because they both kind of got hung up in their rebuttals and their 15-second arguments there. Kind of got strung up on one point that I'm not sure helped either of them too much. But yeah, man, this is tough. I think, I think, I'm not going to hold it against Stallone because he wasn't in Creed much, and Ryan gave me a little bit more about his performance in Creed and why it was superior to Rocky, and that's going to be the difference for me. I'm going with Ryan.
All right, we got one for Ryan, one for Malcolm, and it all comes down to me. And I mean, this was really tough. However, I'm going back to the question. It is not best Stallone performance; it is best Stallone film. Whereas I feel like I heard more of a reason why Ryan chose. I mean, I heard more of a reason from Ryan why Creed was the better film than Rocky, because he talked about how Rocky's performance elevated passing torch to Michael B. Jordan's character and how that influenced. Whereas I didn't hear enough from Malcolm, so I gotta award the point to Ryan, because just barely. And now it is tied 2-2. It's coming down to the final speed round question. And for the final speed round question, both competitors, I'll do the same thing. I'll repeat the question twice, and when you guys have an answer, you say your name and give your answer. And then second speed round, it's going to be 30 seconds for opening, 20 seconds for rebuttal, and then 10-second closing. Does everyone understand that?
That's where everything is.
Yes.
All right, so your final speed round question is, what horror film would you turn into a comedy? What horror film would you turn to a comedy?
Ooh. Jeez. Oh, man. Ryan.
All right, Ryan, what is your choice?
Gonna go with The Conjuring.
Conjuring. All right, and now we're just waiting for Malcolm for an answer.
God.
I'm going to go with Final Destination.
Well, which one?
Final Destination.
Final Destination. Okay. So it's The Conjuring versus Final Destination. Ryan, since you spoke first, you will have 30 seconds for your opening, and it starts when you start talking.
The Conjuring can be turned into a comedy because there are so many different weird things going on around the house. Even though they're connected to one entity being the demon in the horror version of this, in the comedy version, it could be a mixture of different things. It could be people dressed up in weird costumes. It could be people pulling magic tricks to make it seem like there's a demon possessing the house, or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of different ways you can fool the audience, turn the characters on their heads, pull the rug right underneath them and really mess with their heads more so than an actual demon/entity would in this case of that movie, with The Conjuring being a straight up comedy.
Time. All right, Malcolm, you have 30 seconds for your opening statement, and it starts when you start talking.
I mean, there's so much you can do with Final Destination as a comedy. It's like you can make all the deaths super ridiculous. Like you can even have the initial premonition death be something so ridiculous that so crazy and out there. You could have it like them being in a clown car accident or something at a circus. I mean,
Time. All right, Ryan, you have 20 seconds for your rebuttal, and it starts when you start talking.
Death is just one thing. That's the only thing about Final Destination. With The Conjuring, you can do a lot of different things, but not just the demon possessing the house in the horror version. In the comedy version, you can have magicians playing tricks on people. You can have hypnotists hypnotizing the characters and really mess with their brains. With someone possessing a human body, you can really mess around with that. Like a demon could be evil, but at the same time, you can really play with it and make him do silly things like jumping on one leg, doing sexual stuff, or whatever.
Time. All right, Malcolm, 20 seconds for your rebuttal.
Yes, but in saying that, if The Conjuring was a comedy, like it could go really close to scary movies. Scary Movie 5 has done a lot of demon comedy already. Like demon comedy gets so tiring afterwards. Like when it comes to Final Destination as a comedy.
All right, Ryan, you have 10 seconds for your closing, and it starts when you start talking.
If you make The Conjuring into a comedy, it can revitalize that kind of thing you were saying about with messing with the audience, not just with characters inside the house, but outside the house and other environments, and really turn them on its heads, make it funny, do a million different gags and 100 different methods and 100 different ways that can make it more funnier than yours.
Time.
All right, Malcolm, 10 seconds for your closing.
If Final Destination was a comedy, there's so much you can do. It's like you can have so many different comedic type deaths. You can do stuff that has never been done before. When it comes to demons and comedy.
Time. All right. Wow, what a battle. This is going to be a barn burner, and we're going to start to see who wins this match, starting with Kirk. Kirk, who do you think got this point?
This is a tough one because they both had good points for their what they could make of the comedy, and it's kind of the thing where it's already leaning towards comedy. Brian brought up a lot of good points about all the different things you can do, and Malcolm talked about the all the different ways you could kill people off in that movie. The one thing I'll say is that while Ryan was talking, I started to think that this kind of sounds like a spoof he's making. And Malcolm hit him on that. He said, it sounds like a scary movie, and I agree with that. So for me, that was the death blow for Ryan. And I'm giving Malcolm the point here.
All right. And it comes, I will be the next one to decide this. And it was really tough. Both of them, brought how theirs would be a comedy. However, the deciding factor for me was I didn't hear enough about Ryan attacking Malcolm's why Final Destination wouldn't be a comedy. I didn't hear enough attacking on that with that reason. And Malcolm did bring up that his sounds too much like a scary movie spoof, or they have done even the sessions, and I just didn't hear enough from Ryan about why Final Destination wouldn't work as a comedy. So my point is also going to Malcolm. And with that being said, Malcolm gets the point and the win today. What a great match, though. Both people did amazing in this match. Jake, we'll go to you real quick. Your point didn't happen. Who would you have given the point to?
Man, Ryan had me like that entire round. He was just so good at building and building and building why it would work so well and given so many examples of why it would work so well. But Kirk is right. He just landed a haymaker with that sounds too much like Scary Movie. It sounds like a ripoff. And I would have given my point to Malcolm on that one. And Ryan had an amazing argument, though, dude. That was pure gold.
I mean, look, it's sad that we had to see one person having to retire today, but both competitors kicked some major butt. This was a fantastic match. I had a blast. But let's go to talk to these competitors, see how they are feeling. Let's start off with the winner today. Malcolm, how are you feeling about your performance today, and how do you feel about being able to compete still?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was surprised that I got that final point because I actually thought Ryan's argument was better on that side. Like I had that one death blow, and that was pretty much all I had in my arsenal. But I mean, this is fun. Like I love movies. I do love competing in debates. So the fact that I can compete again if I want to is great. I mean, like if I get put in another match, then good. I'll get another match out of this, and it gives me a chance. Like and I mean, honestly, I wasn't as prepared as I should have been for this match, and to be able to win when I just really wasn't prepared that well. Like at least the comic book one is one that's like I had the argument already in my head. It's like I know what I'm going to say. It's like I'll focus on the other two more. And I'm just happy. It's like this is my first win in a while for movie Battleground. So.
All right. Well, congratulations, Malcolm. You played a hell of a game, and we look forward to seeing you here in the future. And now we're going to go to, look, I'm just going to say second place because, Ryan, there was no loser today. Even though you came up just short. I know you're probably feeling disappointed. How are you feeling? And, I mean, unfortunately, it means you have to retire. How do you feel?
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether or not Malcolm and I were going to make it to the speed draft. I thought one of us would get the 3 for 3, or one would have up on the other. But man, great questions. Maybe that Area 51 one was a little out of left field, but those 2 speed round ones, yeah, those are the speed round. The speed round's there for a reason. It's tough. You got to be on your feet. You got to be on bring your best foot bring your best answer to the table, depending on what the question and what the subject matter is. So I did my best under the circumstances, and it just, at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. But, this isn't the first time I've been forced to or been sent to the retirement home. I've already done it once in Phantom Fights over a multiplex, and that's fine. But I know I'm a better competitor than what my record says in that particular division. As far as movie Battleground goes, I'm okay with debating. I'm fine with it, but I prefer to just compete in movie trivia. That's where I feel most comfortable. That's where I feel where I belong. That's where I can feel I can electrify the millions and millions of people watching at home. And I know that my team partner, the real or deal, Ryan O'Regan, and I are going to come back. The Ryhards are going to come back. We're going to go for those team belts in those other divisions and those other leagues. Movie Battleground. This was fun while it lasted, I suppose. But thanks for having me. Good props to the judges panel. Good props to Malcolm. Malcolm, you get to fight another day while I get sent to the retirement home for a second time in my career. That's never thought I would ever say those words, period. But it's not my choice. It's the powers that be. It's the records that I hold. But you know what? I know deep down inside me, and I know that there's some competitors that may be watching this right now, and I just want to make this thing clear. I want to make this one thing perfectly clear. Have I seen every movie there is to be on this earth? No. Am I going to eventually get to it? Probably not. But at the end of the day, I love movies. I love competing, and I love movie trivia. So no matter what happens, no matter what I go through, no matter what obstacles they throw at me, I'm going to get right back up and I'm going to fight again, because I know deep down inside of me that I have the heart of a champion. I know one day I'm going to be holding that belt up in the air with some of the other great competitors that have come before, and they're going to come after me. So just mark my words. One of these days, the Ryhards are going to be team champions. Myself, Ryan, the quote, Permison is going to be a champion. But congratulations to Malcolm. Good luck to you in your future endeavors. And as far as I go, movie Battleground, it was fun. I'm out of here. I'm going to focus on something else, and I'm going to get right back up, and I'm going to do something all over again. So thanks for having me.
All right, those were great words from both competitors, and let's just go real quick to the judge to see how they felt about the match. Let's go to Kirk. Kirk, how did you feel about this match?
I'll tell you what, Richard, there's obviously a lot of movie lovers in this community, a lot of cinephiles, but I can't think of two guys who are more passionate, get more excited about than these two here. So I hate to see, like I said, I would hate to see either one of these guys go. I think we're all losers now, because we're going to miss out on the opportunity to hear Ryan make his passionate arguments about movies. He had a great fight. I would have felt a lot better about this if he would have crapped the bed and just totally tanked it. But the fact that he was, it was so neck and neck the whole way through. And, somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. Unfortunately, it was around this time. But best of luck to him moving forward, everything he does. And Malcolm, great job. Glad to see you pull this one out.
All right, and Jay, how did you feel about the match?
I always love judging matches. It's one of those things I just like to see the way that everybody else argues, and whether or not, I formulate an argument in my head. Both did a fantastic job today. It sucks that one of the people who happened to be in the match, it sucks that somebody had to retire at the end of this match, because this is a great match. I love matches of this caliber, and to know that somebody has to retire at the end of a fantastic match like this just hurts. But they both did an excellent job. They both came up with some really solid arguments, and sometimes it just comes down to luck or, the right combination of words being said. But other than that, this was a blast, y'all. This was great. Thanks for letting me judge. And Malcolm, Ryan, thanks for putting on a hell of a show.
Yeah, and as for me, this was a great match, and it really does suck that someone has to retire. I mean, that's like one of the hardest things that I think for the judges as well, because we have to give the points to one of these competitors, and one of them, like, they lose, it's done, and it's always sad when that happens. But it was such a great match. Both competitors brought their A game, and even though Ryan has to retire, you never know. I mean, he can change his identity, he can change his name. No one can prove that could be Ryan, can wear a mustache. You never know. This may be the end of Ryan Permission's career, but who knows? Maybe some way he can come back. I look forward to see if he can find a way to come back. But that concludes Movie Battlegrounds match today. As for Jay, as for Kirk, as for myself, as for Malcolm, as for Ryan, we bid you good night. Everyone have a good week, and remember, giraffes have necks. I thank you so much.